Project Management Professional Training Session 11 Part 1. Managing Project Resources. PMP Exam Objectives: What it really means. 3.1 Acquire and executing a project requires resources, and executing a project successfully requires the optimal use of those resources. Therefore, coordinating and managing resources, including both human resources, also called team resources, and physical resources, i.e., material, equipment, facilities, and infrastructure, is an integral part of overall project execution. Identifying, acquiring, and managing these resources is called resource management. During 10 project planning, you define roles and assign responsibilities to those roles, as project work is generally performed in the form of roles and responsibilities. Project roles, the responsibilities of those roles, and the reporting relationships among the roles need to be determined in order to perform a project. This is accomplished during the development of the resource management plan. The roles need to be filled with qualified individuals. A team is a group of individuals who perform individual responsibilities to work interdependently on their independent assignments. From a scientific viewpoint, a team is a dynamic entity, and its dynamics are determined by the interaction among its members. Therefore, for the team to be successful, it has to be effective in both dimensions. Its members must be competent in performing their individual assignments, and the interaction among them must be constructive overall. To ensure that, you need to continually develop and manage the project team. Obtaining the right individuals for the project team and developing and managing the team is an art, whereas the effective teams taking the project to success is a science that will unfold itself automatically if you do the art part right. So, the core question in this chapter is how to build and manage a high-performance project team and optimize the team and physical resources by using human resource management. In search of an answer, we will explore 3 avenues: developing a resource management plan, managing team resources, and managing physical resources. Resource management, big picture. In Chapter 5, you learned about creating and managing the project schedule. To implement that schedule, you need resources, which are managed by project resource management, whose big picture is illustrated in Figure 10.1. The processes in gray boxes in this figure are external to resource management. As shown in Figure 10.1, the Estimate Activity Resources process, a resource management process, generates activity resource requirements, which are an input to developing the project schedule, which in turn is used to estimate cost. The cost estimate is an input back to the Estimate Activity Resources process, and also an input to help determine the budget, which generates the cost baseline, which is an input to acquiring resources. Note here the close connection between resource management and cost management. In resource management, first, the resource management plan is generated from the project charter, project scope baseline, and requirement documentation, etc., and becomes input to all other processes. Once you have the resource management plan, you can identify and estimate team and physical resources, acquire resources, develop and manage the team resources, and control the physical resources. You do that using the following processes. Plan resource management. This process is used to develop the resource management plan, which identifies the project roles, assigns responsibilities to these roles, and provides guides as to how to perform the rest of the resource management processes. Estimate Activity Resources estimates the types and amounts of team and physical resources that will be required to perform each schedule activity. Physical resources are non-human resources such as facilities, equipment, material, and supplies. Acquire Project Team, the process of obtaining the team and physical resources estimated by the preceding process. Develop Team, the process of developing an optimal team by improving the individual competencies and interaction among the individual team members, thereby improving the team environment. Manage Project Team, the process of optimizing the team, hence, project performance, by tracking performance of and providing feedback to the individual team members, managing changes related to the team, and resolving issues. Control resources, process of keeping planned, assigned i.e., allotted and used physical resources synchronized by ensuring that planned resources are allotted, used, and released immediately after use. Note as shown by Figure 10.1, resource management and cost management are closely connected. Also, the project team is a subset of project stakeholders. There is obviously an overlap between resource management and stakeholder management. You will notice that when we cover stakeholder management in the next section of this book. Table 10.1 lists the processes of resource management along with their process groups and major output. The develop resource plan and estimate activity resources processes were already discussed in Chapter 6, and the control resources process will be covered in the next part of the book. The rest of the processes listed in Table 10.1 are covered in this chapter, starting with acquire resources. After we figure out the project resource requirements, as discussed in Chapter 6, it's time to acquire the resources, both physical and human, i.e., team. Acquiring project resources. Project resources, both team and physical, are obtained and selected using the acquire resources process, which is shown in Table 10.2 in terms of input, tools and techniques, and output. The project work will be executed by the project team, and therefore the role of the team in the success of the project is crucial. Therefore, it is critical to acquire the right project team for your project. Roles and responsibilities are defined during the resource planning process, discussed earlier in this chapter. Before the work can start, the roles need to be assigned to real individuals, who will become the members of the project team or will be hired for the project. Selecting and assigning resources. The goal and output of the acquire resources process is a list of resource assignments after going through obtaining and selecting those resources. You don't want to assign just any resources to your project, only the best available. So, selecting the right resources is a crucial part of this process. In the following, we explain in the form of steps how to perform this process. 1. How questions. Get general information about how to acquire resources from the resource management plan, and what resources will be procured and how to integrate them with the project and its stakeholders from the project management plan. 2. Resource needs. Fetch information about the project resources that need to be obtained from the resource requirements document, and also from the stakeholder register, where you may find stakeholder requirements or expectations about the use of specific resources. Example, they want to use Apple computers instead of Windows. 3. Resource use time. Obtain information from the project schedule about when a given kind of resource is available. Example, 10 software engineers are needed for the months of March and April. 4. Resource availability. In light of the info from steps 2 and 3, look into resource calendars to find out what resources are already available in what time slots. 5. Select and acquire resources. Select and obtain the needed resources that are not currently available by using the techniques listed in Table 10.2. While selecting resources, cost information from the cost baseline will be useful. 6. Resource assignments. After having selected and obtained team and physical resources, assign them to the project and record these assignments into team resource assignments and physical resource assignments documents, respectively. Of course, these assignment records will contain the appropriate details, such as name, time, role, and responsibilities that come with the role. These two documents make up the output of this process. 7. Create or update resource calendars. Log the assignment information into resource calendars, another output of this process. Create them if they do not already exist. 8. Create change requests. During the performance of this process, the need for a corrective action or some other change might be felt. For example, you find out that a new assignment is needed, and as a result changes to the project schedule and cost baseline will need to be made. In such cases, you will create change requests, which would then be processed through the integrated change control process. 9. Updates. Make updates to documents, such as those listed in the output column of Table 10.2, that may be needed as a result of performing this process. I end this section we have discussed how to yield the output of this process starting from the input by using tools and techniques, which will be discussed next. Caution: resource calendars are created as an output item of the acquire resources process and evolve in a progressive elaboration manner throughout the project, as the process is iterated. This output is also used as an input to this process. Tools and techniques for acquiring and selecting project resources. In the following, we will discuss some techniques for selecting and acquiring project resources, starting with pre-assignments. Pre-assignment: at this stage of the project, there will likely be some team and physical resources already assigned to the project. This can happen, for example, due to the following situations. A team member was promised an assignment as part of a specific proposal. Acceptance of this proposal automatically affirms that staff member assignment. There is only one person in the organization who has the expertise to perform a specific activity. Team members were already involved in the project, taking part in developing the project charter and other processes before the development of the resource management plan. Decision-making techniques: these techniques are used to select suitable resources that can be efficiently and effectively used to perform the project work. For example, in the multi-criteria selection method, different resource options are compared and scored based on several given criteria, and the resource with the best score is selected. In a score scheme, you can use different weights for different criteria depending upon their importance. The criteria and their relative importance partially depend on the project. The general examples include cost, timely availability, good fit with the team, and right knowledge, skill, experience, attitude, and ability to efficiently and effectively perform the assignment. Interpersonal and team skills, negotiation. One very important interpersonal skill that you will be using to acquire resources is negotiation. The project manager and the project management team should effectively negotiate and exert influence in a positive way to obtain the best possible team to complete the project work. The failure to acquire an effective team can result in missed deadlines, cost overruns, poor quality, and eventually a failed project. You will most likely need to negotiate with functional managers for the staff assignments for your project. In these negotiations, you have a two-pronged goal: to obtain the best available person for an activity and to obtain the person for the required timeframe. Tip: while negotiating with a functional manager, sometimes it's important to understand the functional manager's perspective in light of the politics of the organization, and to be able to influence the manager in that context. For example, a functional manager will weigh the benefits, such as the visibility of your project compared to that of competing projects, in determining where to assign the best performers. In this case, it is to your advantage to explain the importance of your project and the activity for which you are asking for the best performer. You may also be negotiating with project management teams for other projects that might be competing for or sharing resources, physical or human, from the same resource pool. Negotiation skills will also be used to communicate with external organizations to hire or contract team members. Virtual teams. Welcome to the information age triggered by the Internet. The process of working for an organization from outside its physical location was called telecommuting and is now e-commuting. Today, we have the Internet and web, along with related and other technological advances, such as video and web conferencing, smartphones, websites, and web-supported emails and social media. This makes it possible to e-commute from virtually any place on the globe for any organization. Teams composed of e-commuters are called virtual teams because the team works together on the same project with little or no face-to-face interaction or meetings. It is not difficult to find people who have been or are working on virtual teams and have never seen the other team members face-to-face. I have and still am working with several such teams, and I'm sure you either have or you will in the near future. The virtual team format expands the team definition to offer benefits such as the following. People working for the same organization but living in different locations can join the same team. A needed expert can join a team even if the expert does not live in the same location as the rest of the team. The organization has the option to accommodate employees who can only work from their home offices for a certain period of time. Due to the availability of asynchronous communication means, such as email, online bulletin boards, and social media, it is possible to form a team of members who have different work hours or shifts. Virtual teams eliminate or reduce the need to travel by using means of communication that are abundantly available, such as email, video conferencing, and the World Wide Web. This enables organizations to perform projects that were previously impossible due to the anticipated travel expenses. Note that because the virtual team members are not at the same location and do not have regular face-to-face meetings, effective communication is that much more important for the success of the project being performed. Therefore, communication management is crucial to the success of virtual teams. Study Checkpoint 10.1. Use your knowledge of the acquire resources process to answer the following questions. Q1. List some EEFs that can influence the process of acquiring resources. Q2. List some OPAs that can influence the process of acquiring resources. Q3. How are the documents listed for update in the output column of Table 10.2 updated? The team you are going to acquire could be at one location or a virtual team, and a team member might be from your organization or from outside your organization. In other words, you hire the individuals, but you need a team to complete the project successfully. Virtual or non-virtual, once initiated, a team needs to be continually developed. Developing the project team. Your project team can consist of members from different departments and disciplines, regular employees and contractors, and experts from different disciplines. Some of these individuals might not have much appreciation for others' disciplines. You have the challenge of developing this diverse group into a cohesive and efficient team that will perform the project on time, within budget, and with quality. The single goal of team development is to maximize project performance. This is accomplished by introducing 3 elements. 1. Improve the competencies of team members. 2. Improve the interaction among team members. 3. Improve the overall team environment. This will help you develop a cohesive and competent team to meet the project objectives effectively. Tip: each team member should be the owner of the piece of work assigned to the member and hence be fully responsible for it. That said, teamwork and team spirit are critical factors for the project's success. It's the responsibility of the project manager to create an environment that supports teamwork and team spirit. Table 10.3 shows the develop team process, used to develop the project team, in terms of input, tools and techniques, and output. As usual, we start with the initial information provided by input. The resource management plan guides us on how to develop the project team by providing useful information on team development-related matters, such as the following. Feedback and training strategies. Using result of performance assessments. Disciplinary action. Recognition and reward systems. Obviously, team development starts with team members and information about them as well as the staff assignments made during the acquire project team process. The project team assignments, project schedule, and resource calendars documents will reveal their names, assignments, roles, responsibilities, time they are available for trainings, and maybe much more. Team values, operating guidelines, and rules are given in the team charter document developed during the plan resource management process. With this information on hand, you can start team development, which is an iterative process repeated throughout the project lifecycle. In the repetition of this process, you can make use of the lessons learned in team development so far, which are recorded in Lessons Learned Register. You can use the standard tools and techniques listed in Table 10.3 to develop a winning team. Tools and techniques for the develop team process. A very important management technique is to establish clear expectations at the very beginning of a project. The expectations can be established by setting ground rules. Early commitment to these guidelines will increase cooperation and productivity by decreasing misunderstandings. Once the rules are clearly established, all team members are responsible for enforcing them. These kinds of ground rules are parts of the team charter document. Other techniques are discussed in the following paragraphs. Co-location and virtual teams. This technique keeps all, or most, of the project team members in the same physical location to improve communication and to create a sense of community among the team members. In this age of virtual teams, discussed in a previous section, this is not an increasingly popular technique, but when most of the team members are in the same location, this technique is a default choice. It can include a war room, which is a meeting room used for regular face-to-face meetings. Also, when the project is being executed by a virtual team, the collation technique can be used to put together some team members at crucial times of the project. Some virtual teams can also manage to co-locate for a specific period during the project. In the case of virtual team development, the role of communication technologies becomes that much more important. Communication technologies. There are abundant synchronized and asynchronized communication methods, both online and offline, available that can be used for team development and other project tasks. The following are some examples of methods available: smartphone, email, web chat, web podcasts and seminars, audio and video conferences, shared web portals, discussion groups, and bulletin boards, social media site to set up groups. We will explore communication further in an upcoming chapter on communication management. Note: synchronized communication is when all the communicating parties are present at the same time, example, phone, meetings, and conferences, while asynchronized communication is when all the communicating parties do not have to be present at the same time, example, email, website, and online courses. Internet and web, in general, are designed to support asynchronized communication. Interpersonal and general management skills. General management skills, especially interpersonal skills, are necessary in order to develop an effective team. You and the project management team can minimize problems and maximize cooperation by understanding the sentiments of each team member, anticipating their actions, acknowledging their concerns, and following up on their issues. To accomplish this, the following interpersonal management skills are necessary. Effective communication. This is needed to facilitate the smooth flow of necessary information among team members. Ability to influence. This is generally needed to get things done. In team development, it will be helpful to start from collecting information and move to meetings, getting consent on issues, and resolving conflict. Leadership. This is needed for developing a vision and strategy and for motivating people to achieve that vision. During a time of possible uncertainty, such as changes in upper management, you should clarify the situation and help the team stay focused on the project. Motivation. This is needed for energizing team members to achieve high levels of performance and to overcome barriers to change. Motivation is invoked by being given a reason to act. For example, you can motivate team members by letting them own their assignments, letting them participate in decision-making, giving credit and rewards, and by explaining how they are making a difference by performing this important project. Especially during times when the team is in a low morale mode, you should be able to lift the team's morale and thereby contribute to team development. Negotiation and conflict management. This is needed to work with team members to resolve conflicts and to facilitate negotiations when necessary to resolve conflicts or issue task assignments. Depending on the nature of the conflict, you can take it as a team development opportunity. The effective resolution of a conflict contributes to team building. Problem solving. This ability is needed to define, analyze, and solve problems. Most of these skills are discussed in more detail in Chapter 2. Team management is further discussed later in this chapter. Note: interpersonal skills are also called soft skills, as opposed to hard skills, which refer to technical skills and capabilities. Team building activities. In general, team building involves activities that encourage team members to know each other better and to create a collaborative, cooperative, and supporting team, hence work, environment. Team building activities can range from indirect team building activities, such as participating in constructing the WBS, to direct team building activities, such as social gatherings where team members can get to know each other and start feeling comfortable with each other. While planning such activities, you should keep in mind that the team members might have different interests and different levels of tolerance for games and icebreakers. Although team building is an ongoing process, it's crucial in the beginning. It should start as soon as possible. For example, the project kickoff meeting is an indirect method to start team development. This can be used as a formal way to introduce team members and other stakeholders and spell out the project goals for everyone at the same time. An ideal kickoff meeting is a combination of serious business and fun. The goal is to align the team with the project goals and to help the team members feel comfortable with each other. In planning the kickoff meeting, you can assume that team members have the following questions in their heads that need to be answered before the end of the meeting. Why am I here? Who are you, and what are your expectations of me? What is this team going to do? How is the team going to do its work? How do I fit into all this? Consider the following steps to make your kickoff meeting successful. Agenda. Putting the meeting agenda in the hands of the team members always helps the meeting run more smoothly and effectively and keep it on track. Welcome. Take immediate charge of the meeting by introducing yourself and welcoming the participants. Quickly walk through the agenda and set the stage for the rest of the meeting. Project overview. Define the project, its goals, and its deliverables. Introduce the project team members and briefly describe their roles. The goal is to provide a big picture and to help individual team members figure out how they fit into it. Expectations. Many of the project team members might not already know you and your management style. You should take this opportunity to set expectations about how the team will function. For example, state that you expect all team members to attend the weekly status meetings. Remind the team to focus on the project goal, to do their part, and to look out for one another in a team spirit. Guest speakers. Depending upon the size and visibility of the project, you might also invite relevant guest speakers, such as the project sponsor, the customer, or an executive stakeholder. Before the meeting, spend some time communicating with the guest speaker about the message to deliver. Closure. Ask for feedback and hold a question and answer session. Before closing the meeting, remember that the main purpose of the kickoff meeting is to bring every team member onto the same page regarding the big picture of the project. Don't get bogged down discussing every item in detail. You should know that team development is not an instant process. Generally speaking, when you form a team, it goes through 5 stages of development, according to the Tuckman model, as shown in Figure 10.2 and explained in the following list. Forming. This is the orientation stage, with high dependence on the leader, the project manager, in this case, for guidance and direction. Individual roles and responsibilities are unclear, and there is little agreement on the team goals other than those received from the leader. Processes are often ignored, and the team members test the tolerance of the system and the leader. It's time to establish the ground rules and clear expectations. The leader directs in this stage. Storming. This stage represents the struggle for control and power as team members work to establish themselves relative to other team members. The clarity of the team goals increases, but some uncertainties persist. Compromises might be required to make progress. Coaching and training can play effective roles during this stage. Norming. This is the routine stage during which consensus and agreement about team goals generally prevails among the team members. Roles and responsibilities are clear and accepted by the team members. Major decisions are made by group agreements, and smaller decisions can be delegated to the appropriate team members. During this stage, the leader facilitates. Performing. This is the productivity stage in which the team knows what it's doing and why. The team is functioning in a cohesive mode and working toward the common goal in a more autonomous fashion. Disagreements might arise, but they are resolved within the team in a constructive way. During this stage, the leader delegates and oversees. Adjourning. This is the closure stage, when the mission for which the team was formed is accomplished, or cancelled. The team is adjourned to free the team members to move on to other things. Being aware of these stages of team development will help you to better understand the behaviors of the team members and thereby develop your team more effectively. Training. The goal of training is to improve the competencies of the project team members, which in turn helps in meeting the project objectives. It might be aimed at the individual members or at the team as a whole, depending upon the needs. The training might be scheduled, or it might be less formal, example, it might result from the on-the-job observations and conversations. The following are examples of some other training methods: coaching, mentoring, on-the-job training of a team member by another team member, online training, instructor-led classroom training, observation and conversation. Although not listed separately in PMBOK for this process, observations and conversations are both means to stay in touch with the work and attitudes of the project team members. The indicators to monitor these include the following: progress toward completion of assigned activities and therefore project deliverables, distinguished accomplishments contributing to the project performance, interpersonal issues, individual and team assessments. To continually develop the team, it's important to know and track the strengths and weaknesses of the team and its members. You want to assess the team members individually and collectively on the following: 1. What are their preferences, and what inspires them? 2. How do they interact with other people? 3. How do they process information? Various tools are available to accomplish this, including focus groups, interviews, ability tests, surveys, and online tests designed for this purpose. Recognition and rewards. Generally speaking, people feel motivated if they feel that their contributions and efforts are recognized and valued. Rewards are effective methods to express recognition. The recognition and reward strategy set up during the resource planning process can be used to develop the project team. Remember the following rules in setting up a fair reward system. Only desirable behavior should be rewarded. Any member should be able to win the reward. Win-lose rewards, such as Team Member of the Month, can hurt team cohesiveness. It's important to consider the value of the particular reward from the rewardee's perspective. The cultural diversity of the team should be considered and respected. Output of team development process. The major output of the develop project team process is the team performance assessment document. This and other output items are explained in the following paragraphs. Team performance assessment. The effects of the team development efforts are measured by the individual and team performance assessments and recorded into the team performance assessment document. It includes the following information: improvement in individual skills that enables a team member to perform project activities more efficiently. Improvement in team skills that helps the team to improve overall performance and work more effectively as a group. Increased team spirit or cohesiveness. Team members interact in constructive ways and help each other meet the project objectives. Reduced staff turnover rate. Change request and document updates. As a result of the develop project team process, the need for changes may arise. Change requests are generated and, as usual, are processed through the integrated change control process. Approved changes are implemented, and the corresponding documents are updated. The obvious documents that might get updates are listed in the output column of Table 10.3. Knowing the process, the reasons for their updates should be trivial to figure out. For example, based on the team development experience of which methods work better than others, changes could be made to the relevant part of the resource management plan, and the lessons learned register should be updated accordingly. Similarly, team development could cause changes in assignments and schedule and so on. While you are developing the team, you also need to perform a related task: managing the project team. Managing the project team. You manage the project team by using the manage team process, which is aimed at improving and optimizing the project performance by executing the following tasks: resolving issues and conflicts, coordinating changes, tracking the performance of each team member and of the team as whole, providing feedback to the team members individually and to the team as whole. Tip: managing the project team can involve activities from hiring to firing and from providing feedback to optimizing the project performance, and therefore it requires a wide spectrum of management skills, including communication, conflict management, negotiation, and leadership. On one hand, you should provide challenging assignments, and on the other hand you should recognize and reward high performance. This is the interaction of managing and developing a team. Table 10.4 presents the manage project team process in terms of input, tools and techniques, and output. You perform this process by getting information about the team and some means to manage it from the input items listed in Table 10.4, and then you manage the team using the tools and techniques listed in the same table. Getting information about the team and means for managing it. The main input items to managing the project team come from the output of the plan: resource management, acquire resources, and develop project team processes. You extract the needed information from them as shown in the following sections. How to manage the team. You can get general guidance on how to manage the team, including releasing the team at the end of the project, from the resource management plan. Knowing the team. To manage the team, you want to know who composes the team, what the team is doing, and how well it is doing. This information can be extracted from the following documents. Project team assignments. Obviously, you should know who your team members are and what they are supposed to be doing, roles and responsibilities. Project team assignments, an output of the acquire resources process, contains this information. Assessment and performance information. The following items will yield this information. Team performance assessment. This is the output of the develop project team process discussed earlier in this chapter. Performance assessment is an important piece of information that can be used in managing a team member and in managing the team as a whole. This assessment helps you to understand a team member, identify issues, and address them. Some examples are the need to resolve conflicts, the need for training, and the need to modify communication. Performance reports. Performance reports contain the progress of the project against the baseline data, such as the schedule baseline, the cost baseline, and the quality baseline. They basically reflect how the team is doing in achieving the project objectives. The information from the performance reports helps determine future team requirements. Example: need more members, updates to resource management plan, and recognitions and rewards. It may also reveal the need for training or the need to change assignments.